Got my awesome makeshift pipe holder here. It's actually semi-stable, I guess. So what I did was I figured out the side that I wanted to tilt towards, which is the top. And from there I worked out my 1 inch that we were doing. At the bottom is the 0, and then halfway up is 1/2 inch, and then just kind of marked off those lines to each other. And like I could have gone halfway in between and then marked 3/4 and stuff, but yeah, let's get this cut and see how it goes. So now we got this down beside successfully. I had to move that out of the way so I could get this in here. And once we line that up all nicely, it sits nice and level, at least level-ish, and nice and straight-ish. And then once, I can't do it while holding the camera, but once I lined that up beside this, it appeared that all I had to do was actually cut it off right where it's flared. I won't be able to slide the flare over top of this because of that and the curve. But if I cut it off there, clean this up, that should all work. This side I just kind of held up there and mocked up, and it looked like I cut enough of a pie out to bring it up. So we'll tack that and then bolt it into place. We'll unbolt this, cut this piece down, tack it to that one, and then put everything back in again. This part you want to take your time and pull everything in and out over and over again. Make sure everything fits. Really take your time with the fitment, and it will make the install in the end and the likeliness of your gasket seating so much better. I know I've never really proven that with the exhaust I've done on this channel, but I have made some okayish exhausts. I built one on the Suburban that lasted quite a while. That was pretty good. I know this is not a super awesome professional one, like I kind of made it sound like at the beginning of the video, but this will get me by, and it's way better than what I have built in the past. Well, my micrometer was way off. If you get this where I planned to have it, it's yeah, I'm gonna go up like that, but I don't want it crooked like that. So if I raise this up, it's kind of hard to see for you, but if I raise that up, the only thing is it will possibly hit the heat shield. I might have troubles getting the pan off without dropping the exhaust then, but other than that, I don't think that will cause too many problems, and it'll keep it a little bit more protected, so I think that'll be all right. Kind of did a bunch without filming. I decided to tweak this and bring it all down so this wasn't way up, so it is only slightly above this, which is fine. Then I had to shorten it here 2 inches to bring it down, but it fits in there nicely. This one I shortened up so it sat up higher. I took 1 inch out of it, and then welded in for my rear O2 sensor. The other one is still on this piece, and the front ones, as I said before, go into the bungs there. So that's all done, and then I got some pieces tacked on here, held together by the X-pipe. They're not welded to it because I still want to take these 2 pieces out individually and weld them up, because I will never get them out of here when they're one whole piece without taking out cross members, and I really don't want to do that. So I'm gonna weld all this all the way to the X-pipe, and then put it all back in, and then I'll weld the X-pipe to it, and then my bottles, and dump it up there. And then I have a lot of extra tubing, so maybe when I have time I'll be able to send it over the axle. So it's really dark under there, but I got that one all welded up and ready to go up in the truck. This one is all welded up. Welds look horrible, but it is just flux core. and right now I'm kind of not carrying as much. I got one weld to do. That's that one. I'm gonna make a little sliver that goes in there because there's no way I'm doing that. Well, like, it's possible, but that would take me like 4 hours and a whole spool of wire. That's a lot better. Still got a little bit of gap to fill, but it's not 3/8 of a gap like it was. Yeah, and just held on with a magnet. So this side's all in, other than that O2 sensor that I need. It's in there nice and solid. This side's all in here. Everything's all tucked up and straight-ish. And then goes back. It's being held up by a wrench for now. And then X-pipe. And now I'm going to fire it up and see what it sounds like. Collectors are not tight, but they do have gaskets. They're just finger tight. And there's the O2 sensor hole. And no mufflers. But we'll fire it. We'll connect the battery back up because I was disconnecting it for welding on the truck. We'll connect that back up and fire it up. Now it is dark outside, but it's not too late. It's 7:30. So don't get upset that I'm firing it up. Got the second section done. Just decided to measure it all up and do it out here because it's a lot straighter. And then I only have to do here while up under the truck. And I only have to fight with these two welds instead of these two, and then these two, and then these two. Tips aren't as angled as I was hoping. They looked good, and then I started welding it and flipped it over and went, oh. But it's okay because I like to keep it tucked because this does see off-road occasionally. I did that with my Suburban too. I kept it very tucked up. Plus with them being angled, they'll at least blow it out the side. I have it so it should be like right here, right in the wheel well, blowing it out. Basically got it as close to the X as I could because the cab actually ends right here. So I tried to get it like right here. And then, like I said, if this all works and I eventually have time, I will run it over and out, either straight out the back or some nice tips out the side or something. Stacks. The wife would, I don't know how she feels about that. She likes the stacks on the crew cab, but she doesn't. I don't think she'd be happy about losing her box space. So exhaust is pretty much done. I added these bars in to tie it together. There's another one down there. And then that one's actually tied to the hanger. There's another one there. And then the hanger right there. Exhaust is sitting on its own weight and it's actually really solid, but does have play. I was unable to get the tops here, so I hope they don't leak, but I can pretty much guarantee they will. Which sucks, but it is what it is. I may try to get them at a later date. This thing here, it's hard to see in here, it's kind of dark, but there's a little exhaust shield that sits an inch away from the floor. I might be able to pull that out and gain a little bit of room and get up in there, but I even tried to drop this down up against the cross member here and I couldn't even get up in there. So, or might just put a little bit of like JB weld across there or something, or some muffler goop. But it's time to fire it up and see how bad it leaks. A little louder at idle than I was hoping for, but she does sound good. She braps a little bit. Haven't revved her too much. She's cold, but I'll get her down on the ground, clean up around her, pull her out, let her warm up a little bit, and then take her for a test drive and see how she runs with no cats. Avalanche sounds amazing. I took it to my brother's the other night, and I left it in low and brought it up to like 3,500 RPMs and just let it cackle down the block. And yeah, it cackles. And he's like, oh my God, he's in a small town. So he's like, oh, the local town Facebook group is probably going to have like 3 posts about who is the a-hole with the loud exhaust going through town. That was me. So, small town that my brother's in. I'm sorry. That was me. But it does have a leak at the one header that I got to fix. I got some thicker gaskets, but I think I'm going to have to tweak the exhaust. I'm going to have to cut it off at the downpipe and tighten it all up and then weld it on again. It must have warped or something. And it leaks a little at the X-pipe where I couldn't get up over it, so I'm not sure what to do about that yet. Might just JP weld it or something. And it drones like crazy. I don't know if it's because of those exhaust leaks or if I gotta go at the back, but so I'm gonna still go at the back. I think I'm just gonna do a little woo over the axle and then straight out the back. I wanted to like 90 it off and make some nice tips and stuff, but I don't really have the time right now. I gotta get ready to be moving out of this place. So yeah, I think just a little woo and then out the back. So I ended up giving it a double barrel shotgun at a 45 out of here. Just kind of quickly loops over the axle. Most of it I could get all the way around, so it shouldn't leak too bad. But hopefully that gets it out from under the truck and doesn't drone anymore.